For years, Sam Heughan has been known not only as the dashing Jamie Fraser in Outlander, but also as one of Hollywood's most private stars. His fans have followed his every project, his every red carpet appearance, but when it comes to his personal life, Sam has always remained elusive. That's why, when he finally opened up, just a fraction, about his rumored connection to actress Hannah James, the world stopped to listen. The confession came unexpectedly. Sam was seated across from an interviewer during what was supposed to be a light-hearted conversation about his career, his whiskey brand, and his stage work. The questions were predictable, the kind he could answer with a smile and a well-rehearsed anecdote. But then, almost casually, the interviewer asked about his experiences filming some of Outlander's most emotionally charged scenes, specifically those with Hannah James, the actress who portrayed Geneva Dunsany in Season 2. At first, Sam gave the expected response: praise for Hannah's talent, acknowledgement of the intensity of those scenes, and respect for how she handled a role that was controversial among fans. But then, his tone shifted. He leaned forward, his voice lowering slightly. "You know," he admitted, "those scenes with Hannah were more complicated than people realized." The words hung in the air, heavy with implication. For fans watching, it was like hearing a secret slip out, one that had been buried for years. Sam continued, carefully choosing each phrase, as though weighing how much of the truth to reveal. "There was a connection," he said quietly. "Something genuine, something that went beyond the script." The reaction was immediate. Online, clips of the interview spread like wildfire. Headlines screamed about the shocking confession, while fans flooded social media with theories. Had Sam just admitted to having feelings for Hannah James? Were the long-standing rumors about an off-screen relationship finally true? Or was he merely speaking about professional chemistry, magnified in a way that set tongues wagging? For those who remembered, Hannah James's brief but pivotal role in Outlander had always been steeped in drama. As Geneva Dunsany, she shared some of the most talked-about scenes with Sam, scenes that were intimate, complex, and emotionally charged. Fans had speculated endlessly about the behind-the-scenes dynamic between the two actors, especially given the rawness of their performances. Sam's confession now seemed to validate those suspicions, adding a new layer to an old mystery. But the real shock came in how Sam described the aftermath. "It wasn't just another scene," he confessed. "It stayed with me longer than I expected. Longer than I wanted, maybe." His eyes flickered with something unspoken: nostalgia, regret, or perhaps both. He didn't elaborate, but the weight of his words left little room for indifference. Fans, of course, went into overdrive. "He finally admitted it," one Twitter user exclaimed. Another wrote, "The way he talks about Hannah, it's not just acting. You can hear it in his voice." Entire fan forums lit up with detailed analyses, some replaying the clip frame by frame, searching for subtle clues in Sam's expression. Did his smile falter when he mentioned her name? Did his pause hint at memories too personal to share? Even more intriguing was what Sam didn't say. He never confirmed whether he and Hannah had been romantically involved, never offered specifics about the so-called connection. Instead, he left his confession dangling in the air, like a half-finished sentence. "There are some things," he added cryptically, "that I've never really talked about. Maybe one day." The interviewer, sensing the tension, pressed gently, but Sam only smiled and steered the conversation back to safer territory. Still, the damage, or perhaps the revelation, was done. For the first time, Sam Heughan had cracked the armor of his privacy, and fans were left desperate for answers. The confession felt like more than just a passing remark. It felt intentional, like a door left slightly ajar. And behind that door, there seemed to be a story. One that involved not just scripted romance, but real emotions, real complications, and perhaps even heartbreak. By the end of the day, one thing was clear. Sam's words had reignited a firestorm. Were he and Hannah James ever truly together? Was his confession an admission of something more, or simply a slip of vulnerability from a man who had guarded his personal life for far too long? The truth, it seemed, was still hidden. But Sam had made one thing certain. There was more to the story of his relationship with Hannah James than anyone had ever imagined. And with that tantalizing hint, fans were left waiting for the full truth to finally be revealed. The ripples from Sam Heughan's confession didn't fade, they grew into waves. Within hours of the interview airing, media outlets from London to Los Angeles ran stories analyzing every syllable. Sam Heughan opens up about connection with Hannah James, one headline proclaimed. Another speculated more boldly. Was Outlander more than acting? Heughan admits to real feelings. Fans couldn't stop talking. Social media exploded into a frenzy of debates, theories, and heated exchanges. On Twitter, one fan wrote, "You could see it in his eyes, he meant every word." Another argued, "It was just professional respect. Don't twist his words." Instagram fan pages filled with side-by-side photos of Sam and Hannah during filming, accompanied by captions like, "The chemistry was always undeniable." To understand the intensity of this reaction, one had to revisit Hannah James's brief but unforgettable role in Outlander. She played Geneva Dunsany, a headstrong young aristocrat whose entanglement with Jamie Fraser in Season 2 remains one of the most controversial arcs of the entire series. Hannah, relatively unknown at the time, was suddenly thrust into the spotlight, her performance sparking admiration, criticism, and, inevitably, speculation about her off-screen relationship with Sam. Their scenes together were raw, emotionally complex, and unforgettable. For many fans, the authenticity of their chemistry seemed too powerful to be confined to the script. The rumors began almost immediately, fueled by paparazzi photos of the two laughing together on set, and later by whispers of private dinners and after-hours gatherings. Until now, however, both actors had remained silent, neither confirming nor denying anything beyond professional admiration. Sam's confession changed everything. By admitting that there had been a connection, and that those scenes lingered with him longer than expected, he had reignited questions that had long been buried. Was it just chemistry born of professionalism, or had there been something deeper between him and Hannah? Hannah herself has rarely spoken about her time on Outlander, though in past interviews she described working with Sam as incredibly rewarding. She praised his generosity as a scene partner and admitted that the intensity of their shared moments was both challenging and inspiring. Her words, at the time, seemed straightforward, but now, in light of Sam's confession, fans were revisiting them with new eyes. Some insisted this was proof of a romance hidden in plain sight. "They don't talk about people like that unless something really happened," one fan commented on a viral TikTok dissecting their interviews. Others, however, cautioned against reading too much into it. Actors can connect deeply on set without it being romantic. That's what makes them good at their jobs. The fandom split into two camps, the believers and the skeptics. For the believers, Sam's words were the long-awaited validation of what they had always suspected, that the connection between him and Hannah transcended the screen. For the skeptics, it was simply another example of the media blowing a thoughtful remark out of proportion. Meanwhile, the press didn't hold back. Articles speculated on why Sam had chosen this moment, years after Hannah's time on the show, to make such a confession. Was it nostalgia, an accidental slip, or a deliberate decision to finally acknowledge the truth? Some even theorized that with Outlander nearing its final season, Sam felt freer to speak about moments in his past that had previously been off-limits. But perhaps the most intriguing part of his confession was what he didn't say. "There are some things I've never really talked about," he had hinted. That single line became a rallying cry for fans desperate for more. What exactly was he holding back? Was there a story of romance, heartbreak, or something more complicated hiding beneath the surface? The ambiguity only added to the allure. In a world where celebrities often overshare every detail of their personal lives, Sam's half-revelation felt tantalizingly rare. It offered just enough to fuel speculation but left the deeper truth cloaked in mystery. For Hannah, the renewed spotlight was both a blessing and a curse. Fans flocked to her social media, combing through posts for clues. A caption about unexpected memories was quickly tied to Sam, though it could have meant anything. A photo of her in Scotland resurfaced, igniting theories that she and Sam had reconnected long after Outlander. None of it was confirmed, but in the world of celebrity rumor, confirmation was hardly necessary. As the frenzy built, one thing became clear. The story was no longer just about Jamie Fraser and Geneva Dunsany. It was about Sam Heughan and Hannah James, two actors whose paths had crossed in a way that left a lasting impression. Whether that impression was professional respect, fleeting romance, or something in between remained uncertain. And maybe that uncertainty was the point. By leaving his confession open-ended, Sam had given fans not closure, but curiosity. The truth remained elusive, but the questions it sparked would linger far longer than any simple answer could. In the end, what mattered most was not whether Sam and Hannah had been together, but the fact that his words had peeled back a layer of mystery. He had reminded fans that behind the polished image of celebrity lies something messy, complicated, and undeniably human. And in that confession, half revelation, half riddle, he had given them something more powerful than certainty: the irresistible pull of the unknown.